After lengthy trials, jurors have officially found R. Kelly guilty of racketeering, including bribery and sexual exploitation of a child and sex trafficking on separate charges. According to CNN, Kelly was found guilty of 1 count of racketeering and 8 counts of violating the Mann Act. In order to be convicted, the jury needed to find him guilty of at least 2. Now, if you remember when Kelly was faced with child pornography charges back in the early 2000s, he was acquitted after it was determined that the identity of the girl in the sex tape was not conclusive. During the trial, comedians like Dave Chappelle and shows like the Boondocks had a field day addressing the trial and everyone's reactions to it. Today we have our company hype analysts, Vanessa Fraction, Capone, and Pierre calling in, and we have to ask the question, what do you think of R. Kelly's conviction? But first, let's take a look at this video.
Please, people, you saw the tape. The girl testified she was underage. You're not allowed to do that to a little girl.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, all that needs to be said is this.
Every famous nigga that gets arrested is not Nelson Mandela. Yes, the government conspires to put a lot of innocent black men in jail on fallacious charges. But R. Kelly is not one of those men.
Out of suitcases, I went from black guys to rockin' black ladies. Lord, have mercy. Now you see me in that all white mercy.
Now, as funny as that clip is, and as amazing job as Aaron McGruder does with the Boondocks, this will become reality because that's what we're starting to see outside of the courtroom. People playing R. Kelly's music, showing their support for R. Kelly. So that is current day, you know, as opposed to what we saw on there. I want to come to you first, Pierre. What are your thoughts seeing that clip and seeing what's currently happening?
I mean, I missed the Boondocks. That's what it did to me. It's like, damn, that was one of my favorite shows of all time. They nailed it. I mean, the show always nails it, but on this particular one, they nailed it. There are folks that do not care what he did. They love his music. They can't separate the music from the man, you know, and they just want to see, you know, they want to see him free. You know, they just feel like what happened in the past with them girls is a past. They move forward. Let's move on. Let's get these songs out. And there's other folks that are saying, hell no, this man needs to go in jail for a long time. You know, from that clip, you know, I myself say he should go to jail, but I don't say for the rest of his life. I don't believe in throwing the key away in this scenario.
Right now, I want to come to you next, Vanessa. Being that you're from Chicago and seeing this video, have you ever heard anything during your time there? And what are your thoughts seeing that video?
Yes, I've heard many, many things from my time being there. I've heard many things from women that have dealt with R. Kelly. I know people close to his camp and so forth, but he's gone to trial, so I don't need to say anything that I know, or whatever. But that clip that we were speaking on, you said it, is hilarious, and it's art reflecting reality. You know, do I feel like he should be punished because we have to protect those that are not, that are not mature enough to make the best decisions for themselves at that time? Yes, he should. Do I separate the art from the music? I'm not gonna say I'll never, dance to another R. Kelly song or anything like that, but I certainly don't depict him as any kind of a hero or anything that, when you do bad things, which he did and was, convicted of, then you do need to be punished. So again, shout out to the Boondocks for hitting the nail on the head with that. And like you said, ignorance won. He's vexed sometimes by his people's reaction to things like that. I don't understand the disappointment in his conviction. You know what I'm saying? Like this has been going on for how long? You know that he's doing, messing with these young girls. So I don't understand the support or the standing outside the courtroom.
Right, and listening to his music. Yeah, and it's crazy because that's what we're actually seeing. Now, Capone, I want to come to you after seeing that. What are your thoughts on that? And seeing that, hey, this is what Boondocks predicted, if you will, and this is what we're actually seeing in current day.
Well, the most important thing that was said on that video was the man needs help. And he didn't get the help. And that's why we're in the situation that we're in now. I mean, if he would have went to counseling or went to a doctor or, it's a lot of people that play positions in this. There's a lot of parents that sent their daughters there.
Come on, Capone.
I'm in a point to where the parents are not being, the man needed help. And I too can separate the music from the man because personally I didn't know him. met him, but didn't know him, didn't know what his thing was. But I love his music, but his music doesn't change if you did something wrong like that, especially to our babies. The most important thing that was said on that whole thing is this man needs help. Get him some help.
So I want to ask you this, Capone. How responsible do you think his team was in that? You know, being that they, you know, like you said, they didn't help him. You know, some people, you know, there have been things that are coming out about them helping and assisting with the habit. How responsible do you think that his team was in those actions?
I don't think that his team was responsible at all. They were looking for a paycheck. I mean, I know we're going to talk about the charges that was brought up to him, but one of the main charges, I mean, it's just like anything else. If anybody's paying your check, you overlook certain things. And unfortunately, when the tape started coming out, these were guys who were stealing from him and putting it out there on a secret note. Instead of trying to help him, they kind of hurt him. Mm-hmm. And with that being said, the charges. Can I speak about the charges?
Well, we'll dive into it momentarily. I want to make sure I give, because I do want to come to you, Vanessa, because I know you said, and I don't want to go into the details of who you know in his camp, but I know you've kind of had some of those conversations, or, you know, but with that, what are your thoughts in that, of the responsibility of the people that were surrounding him? Not necessarily, you know, your exact details, but just how responsible do you think those people were?
I feel you do have a responsibility. And if you're going to convict him on racketeering charges, then you're saying that he has an enterprise. You're saying that the bodyguards, the whomevers, the whatever, they're the ones that are helping to bribe these people. They're the ones that are helping to do whatever. So if it's actual racketeering, that speaks of other people. And so what, yes, will they be punished as well? That's a big question that I do have, you know what I mean? And do feel like there's a sense of responsibility to that. I work with plenty of people, and there's plenty of jobs that I've turned down for less offensive reasons.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think that you do have a morality and integrity, a responsibility to yourself as an individual. You know what I mean? Yeah, I do.
So let's go ahead and dive. And Pierre, I'm going to come to you first. So I definitely want to bring this to you. Now let's dive right into his charges. So you mentioned the racketeering. He could face up, you know, to decades in prison, as well as, you know, he'll be convicted on May 4th. I want to come to you first, Pierre. What are your thoughts on, you know, his conviction? Do you agree with the charges, or just, you know, what's in your mind when you hear these charges that are being brought up against R. Kelly?
All right, let me. I just want to say something real quick. I know a person who was very close to him. I don't want to say the position because then they'll know who it is.
Right.
A person that's very, very close to him told me, now again, you know, he's going to say what he's going to say, that he didn't see any of that. Every time he was around, R. Kelly kept the girls hidden in back of buses, wouldn't really see him, you know, whatever, you know. Now, to say that people should have said something, yes. In the perfect world we live in, yes, he should have. In the perfect world, we don't kill each other either. In the perfect world, we don't sell drugs to each other. But we live in a world where this man was a very powerful man. Let's not forget that. He's a powerful man. He was worth millions of dollars. People need to feed their families. Everyone ain't going to step up. I know he's supposed to say, well, I would have stepped up. That sounds good that you would step up. But majority of the people are going along with stuff that's fugazi because of the powerfulness of the person. Now, they all could have quit. Every person could have quit. But that's not going to happen when it happens. You know, it is not. Now,
but is that okay, Pierre? But is that okay to be?
It's not about being okay. Right? It's not okay. But we do stuff that's not okay right now. We do stuff all of that. We kill people. That's not okay. You know what I'm saying? We sell drugs. It's not okay. I'm living in the real world. And you're right. They should have. His whole team should have walked away from him. But that's not going to happen. So, you know, to try to get a powerful man to do that, that's very difficult to get a person in a powerful position to say, hey, man, I know people. Look, you know people can do some fugazi, treat other artists wrong. Say you have a star, you're around. You say, girl, you be yelling at everybody. Why you yelling? She, you know what? You won't open up for her no more on tour. Okay, girl, you're right. Bye, bitch.
So Pierre, do you then agree with R. Kelly's charges?
I don't care. I can go find some other work. I'm saying it's about your personal integrity.
Right. Yes. That's fine for you. But many people say, you know, that's not my business.
I know plenty of people that said, I need to feed my family and I'm going to turn a blind eye. But
Pierre,
I'm not saying
Pierre. Okay. Pierre, let me ask you this. Do you agree with his charges, Pierre? With that in mind, all those things, you know, people needing to step up, people not. Do you agree with his charges?
Ask someone else. I'm fed up with it. I'm not going to answer that. Talk to Capone. Talk to her. I told you what I felt. And that's all I'm gonna say on that one. Shit, I'm not gonna go into it no
So
more.
Capone, I'll bring
I'm
that
gonna go
question to
down.
you, Capone.
He kept sliding out of things. Like we talked about the first case where he's child pornography in Florida. It was child pornography some other places. And when you begin to say, look, I'm going to cast a big net, the same thing they do with gangsters and stuff like that, whether I got to catch you on taxes, whether I got to catch you on whatever I got to catch you on, I'm going to cast a big net and catch you on something because I know, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to let it slip through the cracks again and say, oh, she don't want to testify. I don't know how old she is when you've investigated enough to know that there are young girls being harmed.
So Capone, let me bring that question back to you, Capone. What are your thoughts about the charges that R. Kelly is facing?
Well, I mean, Vanessa said it very well. Racketeering is almost impossible to be charged with when only one person got arrested. Racketeering is a group of people, an organization, and you're talking about bringing children to have sex and all this sex trafficking and all that. It's almost impossible to do a whole investigation on an organization and charge somebody. This is the first time in history that a man has been charged with racketeering and only one person got charged. It's never been done before.
So Vanessa,
I'm no legal analyst. I don't know. I just know what he's saying about the racketeering thing means it's more than one person. So why aren't other people being charged? Let's say you was the head of it. Then why aren't other people being charged as well? Again, maybe we need to have a legal analyst. And
so they had to have 2 counts of something for him. And that was a charge that they pretty much made up.
They said that they proved that the jury felt that 12 of the counts were correct, and it was only 2 counts that they couldn't prove. But you only need to have 2 to make it right.
Right.
So Pierre, am
I saying that correctly?
Pierre, I do want to come back to you
Makes sense.
just to see, is there anything that you want to add in on that, being that, he is being charged with the racketeering, but nobody else in his camp has been arrested or charged as of now. Is there any thoughts that you have on that, Pierre?
Now, at the end of the day, we know he was doing something that wasn't right. I'm not going to nitpick the charges. As a scope of him for the last 25, 30 years, we know he's having sex with some young women and doing some malicious stuff. Pretty much know that. He's getting punished for that. I don't care if it's punished, for this, that, or the other. It's a body of work. We know. Let's not act like not saying no one's on the panel acting like this, but let's not act like he ain't messing around with some young girls, very young, underage at time. All those stories can't be lies on one person. Everybody's turned their head and see nothing. So he's guilty. He needs to go to jail for some time. Again, as I said, I don't believe in throwing the key away on him. I don't believe in putting him forever, but give him some time, some decent time, and let him get through it. He done lost a lot. Trust me, he's lost a lot. Okay, he might not lost his life, but he's lost a lot. Them young ladies have lost a lot too, but he's lost a lot also. Give him some years and get him back, let him do it, get out and do what he got to do, and maybe hopefully he'll never do that again. And I think after this, he'll never touch nobody that ain't 80 years old.
Now, I do want to say this isn't the end for R. Kelly, because after this legal battle, in the Northern District of Illinois, he faces more federal charges, including child pornography and obstruction charges. He also faces criminal charges in Minnesota for 2 counts of engaging in prostitution with a minor and Illinois state charges for aggravated criminal sexual abuse. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges and denies all wrongdoing. In addition to that, since the conviction has been released, he did make a statement that I do want to read. R. Kelly states, I believe on Facebook, says, "To all my fans and supporters, I love you all and thank you all for the support. Today's verdict was disappointing and I will continue to prove my innocence and fight for my freedom. Hashtag not guilty." So I don't think this, or not even, I don't think this isn't the end for R. Kelly. I think we'll continue to see things unfold and come to light. So I appreciate you all calling in and giving your thoughts.
He's not guilty. I don't have no tears to cry. Just shut the fuck up.
Damn.
Stop talking. Stop talking about my fans and my supporters and all this when you've done some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have any tears to cry for him, or any of that, especially when you keep on, I ain't do nothing. Come on, bro.
And with that being said, you heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What do you think about R. Kelly's charges? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
Put it in the
comments. Seem like he's going to be ready to stay in jail, child.
Do you know the comedy culture? Play Comedy Hype, the game. Out now.